but we knew each other for a week and met twice.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
And I did not ask him for, I mean, in my head, there's no way, this.
What was the price tag on the condo? And did he pay cash or did he take out a mortgage?
Yep. He did not take out a mortgage. It was $330,000. It's a small condo. It's 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath, but I don't need any more space. And, I don't need more than that for myself. And it's in a great location in Vegas.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the #1 sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad. And Lily,
the delicious,
well, the shocking stories of sugar dating.
I have a delicious story from last night.
Do tell.
I had the world famous Trevor's Pizza with some of my good friends.
With us. It wasn't world famous until Dave Portnoy came to town for the Final Four basketball tournament. And then he goes in this place and he gives it like a 8.2 rating on their pizza or something, which is very high.
And now they refuse to take reservations and they won't do to-go orders because they're so popular right now. They can barely keep up with their in-house customers.
Yeah. Like 2 weeks after that review, I went in just to have lunch. It was like 3:00 in the afternoon. I hadn't eaten. I stopped in. It wasn't very busy. I sat at the bar. The bartender looked at me and goes, "If you're here for pizza, we're out."
Wow.
I was like, "You're out of pizza?"
It was really a fat joke. They were fat shaming you.
Maybe.
You look like you need a salad, mister.
So the party is coming along nicely. We're doing some planning. So we're giving away 25 Sugar Baby packages. If you haven't heard, July 12th through 14th weekend, it's for the Hootie and the Blowfish and Collective Soul concert. We've got 2 private suites, dead center stage. It's going to come with drinks or, beverages and food. So here's what's going to happen. You guys are definitely going to want to come to this party because I have got some great confirmed guests, some past guests that came to our previous parties who you definitely want to meet them. Mm-hmm. And then some really cool new guests, some as far away from Australia. We've got somebody coming in from Montreal, Canada, and Virginia. I think in Las Vegas, we've got people coming in from Vegas, Chicago. I mean, you definitely want to come to this party. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, Lily, the party starts Friday night. It
does.
At the W.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Brad, what a character he is.
He's hosting yet again.
Our initial mixer on Friday night at the W. That's a swanky hotel in Old Town Scottsdale. Then Saturday, kind of do your own thing. You might be recovering. I don't know. But we do have a pre-party at my house. It'll start around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then a party bus will pick us up, take us to the concert.
Complete with lights and stripper poles and jamming music.
We'll get the party started early. Then we go to Footprint Arena. It's downtown Phoenix, and we'll have 2 private suites, see a great concert, great show. Party bus will take us back, and we'll see how long the party goes. And then Sunday, we're going to have just a wrap-up kind of a brunch, and then if anybody needs rides to the airport, we'll arrange those and just kind of feel it out from there. So I'm excited. We got some great Sugar Daddy sponsors coming this year, too.
Yes, we do.
Some guests who've been guests on the show.
Yes.
Now, how do you come to our party? How do you come to our party, Lily?
Well, I recommend driving or flying.
Well, first they got to go to our website.
Your application.
Right.
And it doesn't hurt to be a Patreon member.
It helps tremendously to be a Patreon member.
Because we're choosing those first.
Yes.
And then if there's any slots left, they might go to Fans from the Wild.
Yes. So You go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. There's a link at the top called contest, and basically click on that. It'll tell you all about the party. It's a survey style entry form, and then you'll submit a video of why we should choose you to come to our party. And if you're a Patreon member, you're pretty much guaranteed. Pretty much guaranteed. So, Lily, how
Yes.
much does it cost to be a Patreon member?
It cost nada.
Nothing.
Not a
Zero.
goddamn thing.
And you know what? I actually posted 2 things today, and you did too, that are free, that our free members can see.
Yes.
Now, we post a lot of exclusive content to our paid members, and we'd encourage you to sign up for one of the tiers because it starts at $10 a month. It's very cheap. It helps with the cost of the show, the production, the parties, the promotion, all this good stuff. It's not free for us, and so we appreciate you helping us there. And then you get a lot of great benefits. You get to hear all the episodes and extra sugars first. You get to see exclusive photos of Lily in her hot tub
In my hot tub.
or enjoying the morning.
I wasn't actually in the hot tub.
Oh, you weren't?
I
Okay.
was actually, I think the hot tub is in the video. I was sitting on the porch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of fun videos and pictures and things that we post that are only seen by the subscribing members. And then, of course, your priority to parties is increased with each tier. And then we have some coaching and profile reviews available. You're doing an hour-long coaching for somebody.
Yeah. Soon.
Yeah.
I got to study their profile a little bit first
Right.
and take some notes.
So we just had a new member sign up on our advanced tier, which includes coaching and a profile review, personal one-on-one, and it's $25. I mean, that is cheap for your time. Matter of fact, I pay you more than that to do all this. So we're running in the negative there. But it's
That's
worth
true.
it. It's worth it. I want our fans and our listeners to have a great experience sugar dating, and we want to help all we can. All right, enough of that bullshit. I've got a guest today.
We do.
Yeah, I go to Vegas every year a lot because we're pretty close, and I play poker on the weekends there all during the summer. And I met somebody there. She's a really interesting girl. We've gone out a few times, and she has actually been considering talking about sugar dating on a podcast of her own, but this is her debut. So welcome, Olivia. How are you?
Yay. Hi. Good.
So-
How are you?
So how is Las Vegas?
It is getting warmer,
Yeah.
and, there's going to be a whole lot of new changes in the city soon within the next few years. And there's been lots of cool events.
Now,
I love living here.
Let me ask you this, because this is getting mixed reviews. Is that Formula One thing fucking up the city? What do people think of that?
I think the locals aren't really pleased. It's a really big inconvenience, especially while they were making the extra bridges and working on the street and everything. But everything's back to normal. I mean, they cleaned it up pretty soon after. I think they'll be here next year.
Yeah.
So
I
again,
think every year, aren't they?
Yeah.
Bringing it there?
Yeah. It was a little disappointing because tickets were so expensive.
Yeah.
And then at the very last moment, they knocked them down. So it was kind of disappointing for everybody that bought tickets at the ridiculously high prices.
Right. All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You are an older sugar baby. How long have you been in this lifestyle?
Over 10 years,
Okay. And
probably.
your age is what?
I am 43 years old.
Great.
Yeah.
So you started in your early 30s. Now, where are you from originally?
I'm from LA originally.
Okay. And then you moved to the big city of Vegas.
About 3 years ago, right in the middle of, 4 years ago, I guess now.
Oh,
right in
okay.
the middle of quarantine and all that stuff.
Oh,
So
gosh.
what prompted you to
Yeah.
move there? Because it's a crazy life.
It was for a job that didn't make it through COVID, but yeah, it was initially for a job. I was planning on being here for 6 to 9 months and then going back to LA, but I never left.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you started sugar dating in LA then.
Yes.
All right. How is the scene different?
The scene is different because there's so many tourists here
Yeah.
in Vegas. And so there's like a huge, it's hard to find well, it's not hard, but it's harder to find a long-term consistent sugar daddy.
Right.
It's just a little bit harder. And of course, there's still plenty of sugar daddies here in Vegas. So, but yeah, there's a lot of people that just, are here for the week or the weekend or whatever it is for work or whatever. And so.
All right.
There's a
So
lot
tell
of
us about
those.
your background and kind of how you decided to go this route. Were you ever married, kids, any of that?
Nope, never married, no kids. I kind of started sugar dating out of necessity, I think. I was with my boyfriend at the time for 5 years. I raised his daughter full time. And then it ended really bad, abusive, physically. And he left me with absolutely nothing. I gave up my entire life for him and his child. And then, I had to leave and I had nothing, absolutely nothing. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I need fast cash. And so I kind of picked it up on my own and just figured it out, joined a couple sites, and then kind of navigated through it on my own.
So you
Tried to
got
figure it
in out of desperation, which is a really tough way to enter.
It is. It is. Yep.
Because
is,
now
yeah.
you're thinking, I need money and I'm just
Right.
almost ready to do about anything, which
Right.
puts you in some precarious situations, I'm sure.
Fortunately, I have never been in a situation where I felt physically unsafe, let's say. Of course, as I'm sure like all of us sugar babies have, we've been ripped off and scammed and whatever, but I've never been nervous or felt like my safety was in jeopardy.
So tell us a little bit
for
about the
sure.
LA sugar dating scene. I've heard stories, and we have one of our co-hosts or our ex-co-host lives in that area now, and it can be, you got Hollywood there, you've got actors,
Yep.
you've got all kinds of tech companies, businessmen. What is the scene like?
It's a mixed bag. I think that there's, yes, of course, the Hollywood aspect, and I was very close to it because I'm pretty much from Hollywood and I grew up in the industry my whole life. But yeah, it's a little bit of everybody. Just it is there. There's so many, all different races and cultures there. So it's not just the entertainment industry, but I think being in Vegas too, the chances of running into a celebrity or someone higher up in the industry is pretty easy or common. But I don't know. It's good. I mean, it's a big place. LA is a big, big place. So
Right.
there's lots of, same as here. I think the reason why I felt comfortable moving to Las Vegas was because it was so close to LA and so similar.
Now, do you have family there in LA?
Well, my mom is there. My family isn't huge, but my mom's there still.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of home
Yes.
base for you still.
Kind of, but I don't, I haven't really been back too much since I moved out to Vegas. I don't know why. I just haven't. I thought I would be back way more often than I am, for sure.
So what kind of situations do you find yourself in LA? Did you have any long-term sugar daddy relationships, more short-term? What were you encountering?
I did one of my first long-term arrangements or relationships was with somebody who just, it was like the ultimate sugar daddy. He got me an apartment and it was just a great setup. I had a car already, but he got me an apartment and paid all the utilities and would give me grocery money and then an allowance on top of that.
All right, well,
I
take
think it
us
was
through because
bi-weekly.
so many women would love to find that situation.
My gosh.
Take us
right?
through how you found this guy. How did the meet and greet go? How did you get to that point where he was willing to do all that?
I remember when I was about in my mid-20s. At the time, I knew he was an executive for, I guess, Live Nation. And I was struggling a little bit. And I had mentioned to him, oh, yeah, whatever, I'm pretty stressed out. And he was like, well, if you want to get together, I'll pay your rent. And at the time, I'm like, I was like, what?
You were mortified.
Yes. And I never talked to him again after that. And little did I know, a little while later, but before I was like, I couldn't even fathom that happening. But it was I didn't meet my first sugar daddy through a site, actually. I met him, I think, at a party through a friend or something like that. It gradually, like naturally evolved. So he was definitely one of the ultimate sugar daddies, just in the perfect situation. And when he heard about what I was going through, he was like, well, okay. And he just laid it all out. And it was, let me tell you, I have been very, 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 very lucky. Even moving out to Vegas, extremely lucky.
Okay, so this guy, you're 33, you've just come out of this volatile relationship.
Right.
And
I think it was about 30. Yeah.
And you basically lost a kid too, because if you were raising that kid, that had to be kind of heartbreaking to not be in the child's life anymore. So you meet this guy. What's your age difference? You're 33. He's how old?
He's 40, mid to late 40s.
Okay. And what did he do for income?
He was a finance guy.
Okay.
He was a finance guy. And he was in and out of LA at the time, already had a condo or apartment, but he just made sure that I was always taken care of. And all of the money or my allowance that I got monthly went to me. I didn't have any bills or anything like that. So that was really, really nice. And it allowed me to save a little bit of money and get, myself back going. And then he had to move to Japan. I think it was about a year and a half that lasted. And then he had to move to Japan for work, but he still took care of me for like another 6 months after he moved.
Was he Japanese?
Mm-hmm.
And then what is your ethnicity?
I am Chinese and Hawaiian and Vietnamese.
I knew it was something exotic because you're so pretty.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So he moved back, and thankfully, he took care of me for the next 6 months so that I wasn't, because his move was sudden, so I wasn't left high and dry. But yes, I've been very, very blessed.
Awesome. So
even at my old age.
How long did that relation, I know it wasn't your traditional sugaring, even though it was sugaring, it wasn't your traditional sugaring like you met on Seeking or something, but how long did that last? Right. And then were you two exclusive?
We were. It lasted for about a year and a half, and it was great because he wasn't demanding. He wasn't controlling. It wasn't like, oh, I need to see you on these days or this amount of time every month or whatever it is, because his schedule was so busy as well. So we definitely would have at least one like overnight a month, but we would try to see each other once a week. Sometimes it would be, a couple times a week or whatever, whenever our schedules allowed, and go grab dinner, or sometimes, he had the time. It really was dependent on his time, but he definitely wasn't demanding or controlling. He never just popped into my apartment or anything like that. So it definitely was the ideal situation.
Okay, so you're basically at this point a displaced homemaker. So are you doing anything to pursue some type of industry or career training?
I mean, before I was a homemaker, I was a dancer. When I say dancer, I don't mean stripper, like a real dancer. And I went kind of back into that. But once my eyes and mind were open to this whole sugar lifestyle, I was like, well,
this shall be my career.
Right. Let's go full time. So, I still got to have my passion and do what I love as far as dancing and teaching dance and things like that. But yeah, I kind of got a little spoiled.
So how did that end? And you said a year and a half?
Yeah, a year and a half. He had to move to Japan for work, and it was kind of like a sudden thing. Yeah, like I said, he took care of me for 6 months after so that I wasn't left high and dry, and remained friends and everything. is cool. Like, yeah.
Okay, I have two questions. Was there
Yeah.
ever any talk of you going with him to Japan? That's my first question.
No, there wasn't.
That wasn't a consideration on anyone's part.
On either part. No, I wanted to stay where I was, and no, I guess we didn't even think about it.
Okay. And then are you still friends to this day?
Yeah, we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we talk occasionally. So I have been lucky to maintain great relationships with everyone that I have been in sugar relationships with. I mean, yeah, they haven't really ended badly, any of them, not that I can think of. So it's kind of good because you always have, you know, in this lifestyle, you meet all different kinds of people from all different walks of life. And, you've got a doctor, a lawyer. So it's kind of great to have them in your back pocket.
Yeah, to make those connections. Yes.
Yes.
Especially if you can maintain them.
Absolutely.
Have you
It
ever
is.
had a sugar daddy who was excessively jealous?
No, thankfully.
Shocking.
No.
Because that happens a
Right.
lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. Or controlling, right? I think I just kind of steer clear of that. It's not really worth it to me. I think it's maybe because I can be kind of a control freak sometimes. So I'm like, oh, well, how is someone going to try and tell me what to do?
Yeah.
Because I gained this whole new independence from coming out of, that relationship that I was in, because I lived my entire life for him and his daughter. And so I was like, I never want to put myself in that position again, to be dependent fully on a man, even though sugar dating, I mean, I guess you are kind of dependent on them, but I didn't want to ever be in the position where I was left out, in the cold with nothing.
Yeah.
Again.
Have
so.
you ever been engaged to one of your sugar daddies?
No. No, I think I kind of get like, I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be open to it. Sure. But it's never gotten to that point, especially because some of them have been married.
Outside of the relationship where it was the volatile one where you were raising his child, outside of that relationship, because I'm going to guess you stayed as long as you did because you were in love with him and you were probably in love with the child. Do you feel like you've been in love since then?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that. Was it a sugar daddy?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
It was a civilian guy.
Yeah. And you know what? For me, I've kind of kept them very separate. But when I've gotten into relationships, though, as far as with a civilian, I've stayed away from sugar dating.
Okay. So you keep it separate. So when you've got a civilian boyfriend, you don't sugar date.
Correct. Except for I have before. Once I've had a civilian boyfriend and sugar dated, and I was really upfront with him from the beginning, with the civilian from the beginning, about what's going on, and, gave him the opportunity to leave if he wanted to, if that wasn't something that he could deal with. So he chose to stay. And yeah, I just laid it all out for the first time, because usually I don't share it with people because a lot of people don't understand.
Oh, no, they don't.
Right. I just laid it all. I was like, what do I have to lose? I guess I just laid it all out, and he decided to stay, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't. Yeah.
See, I wonder about that whole dynamic because one of our friends, and I'm not going to name names, but one of our friends is now in a very serious engaged relationship with a civilian. And she's talking about going back to sugar dating on the side just because she's experiencing some financial need. And she thinks he's just going to accept that lockbox and how do you say it?
Well, the thing is, though,
Lock, stock, and
barrel. That was really difficult for Lily. Lock, stock, and barrel. I kind of think he's going to give her some pushback.
I don't know. I've met him, And what's interesting, he's a little bit younger than her. And he's been a sugar baby before to a sugar mama. So he's a good looking guy, built. She's pretty entranced with him because, he's a really good package. He's fit.
Right.
He's open. He's very accepting. They get along wonderfully. I never thought that she would find her person, to be honest with you, because she's got a tough personality.
She's very unique, and she knows what she wants.
I love her to death.
And what she doesn't want.
There was no way that we could have a relationship. Yeah.
Right.
But we discussed this last night during dinner that she's talking about getting back on Seeking, and we're like, wait a minute, you've committed to a serious relationship.
Right.
And Lily's like, that's not going to work. But
I don't see him just embracing that, but maybe if he's been a sugar baby.
I don't really see him embracing it either, sugar baby or not, because they're in a normal, regular relationship now. And I don't know that. I don't know.
Well,
because it's,
we have another set of friends, and I'm just going to say it. I don't think they would care if we talked about it, but it was Short King and Molly. They were engaged, but they both had the understanding that they were each other's main person and they were connected and committed, but they had other relationships outside of their main relationship and their engagement. I think they were extremely honest with each other. And I think they didn't mind, but for something got tricky there because they're no longer engaged. So I don't know what happened, because for the longest time they were both content to be committed and engaged and potentially married and still do these outside relationships.
But when I interviewed them at our party, they did admit that it's not easy. And that there are hurdles in this, and it hasn't been easy. And apparently since then, it's gotten more difficult.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, it was very difficult for me as well. And as much as he said he understood, and I literally laid it all out there, it was, once feelings are involved and more time goes on, I think it just gets a little bit more difficult.
So initially he said he was cool with it. But then as time went on,
no,
he was no longer cool with it.
No.
Makes sense to me.
I mean, he, went along with it, but it was just a lot of pushback,
Tension.
A lot of arguments about it and stuff like that. So, I mean, honestly, I can't imagine I'd be okay with the shoe were on the other foot.
Yeah.
I'm kind of territorial, I guess. So but
all right, so you've been doing this for 10 years or so. You've seen some changes in the sugar dating world, especially through Seeking. What are you experiencing? Good, bad?
Well, just as
different,
growing older, not even necessarily from the site. I mean, I've noticed that the sugar daddies are starting to get younger.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Now that you're older, because Lily was starting to experience that, where guys in their 20s were hitting on her.
Right. I get guys that are younger than me, and if they're fine with it, there are those that are, I love older women. But there hasn't been. I thought that I was going to get a lot of resistance because of my age, and that I was going to get a lot of, because there was somebody who told me once, well, you're competing with girls that are in their 20s. And I'm like, okay, great.
I had a guy message me on the site and say, what are you doing on this site? You are old. You're in your 50s. And I said, well, ironically, I'm experiencing a lot of success, and I never even thought I was too old because I figured there'd be guys my age on here. And
you know how in demand Lily is, even at
Lily,
being over 50?
I'm 54.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it.
I am.
That's amazing. That's
and
amazing.
I'm telling you, I'm probably not getting the amount of messages. Well, especially since I've changed my profile a lot, but I'm not getting the amount of messages probably that the perky little 20-somethings are getting. But I still was on my old profile, when I was trying to attract traffic, I was getting more than I could handle. So now I don't get quite as much because my profile says, hey, I'm just here looking for stories. Essentially for the podcast. I don't say that because I don't want to call out the podcast and cause any flack for that. But I just say, I'm just here gathering stories and I found my person here. So it can be done. Let me know if you want to share your experiences.
So you did find your person there.
Well, I found my person on Secret Benefits.
Okay, yep. I'm on that one too.
I did not really enjoy that site. I wasn't on there long enough to really get the hang of it, but luckily that's where I met Trucker.
You know what's so funny is that probably the sugar daddy that I benefited from the most, I met on Secret Benefits.
Did you really?
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And how long were you?
And I'm rarely on that site.
How long were you with that guy?
Not long at all. That story is amazing.
Let's hear this one. I want to hear it. Absolutely.
Okay, so I moved to Vegas in the middle of quarantine and moved into a guest house, which was basically a garage transformed into a little house, I guess.
That sounds like my apartment.
Yeah. My situation that whole situation went downhill very, very quickly. He basically wanted me to join his harem of women. And I just wasn't really into it because he wasn't following through on his end of the bargain. So we ended up getting into it and he kicked me out and was like, you have a week to move. So
wait, is this the Secret Benefits guy or
no?
This was a guy when you first transitioned that was letting you stay in his studio apartment garage.
And I was supposed to do some work for him with his businesses and nothing was as he told me that it was. Yeah. False advertising. So, we got into an argument. He kicked me out. I had a week to move. And at this point, I think I was there in the guest house for about a month and a half. But at this point, I didn't really have any money. I didn't have a car at the time. I didn't have any money, definitely no money for a deposit on anywhere. So I was looking around and somehow managed to, a friend of mine gave me some money to go towards, my deposit for this great apartment that I found in a high-rise building that was just beautiful. And because I didn't think there was any way I could swing it. Rent was $2,400 a month. And with nothing, I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, that's hard.
I talked to the realtor and I said, I love it so much, but I just don't think that I can swing it. And she says, well, what's the issue? She said, because the owner of the unit is my best friend. So I'll talk to her. And mind you, this is right in the middle of quarantine. So I think that she needed to rent it as much as I needed it.
Yeah.
So she said, if you can get the deposit in the first months, it's yours. And somehow with those, what were they called? The checks that we got.
Oh, what was it called? Rebate or
stimulation checks
stimulus.
Or something?
Oh, yeah.
I never got one, checks. So I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I wasn't stimulated either.
Yeah, so I got that just then, managed to turn that into a deposit. And I just wanted to get in there. I had no idea how I was going to pay, my next month's rent. I just wanted to get in there and somehow ended up being there for 14 months. I managed to work it out. And then the owner of the unit tells me that she wants to sell the unit.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I just got here and I love it so much. And all the apartments out here, I don't really love them. I just don't like the setup of them. They have carports and I'm just not a fan. And I didn't want to live anywhere else. And I had no idea what I was going to do. I was just so sad and so depressed. And I really wasn't looking for another place, even though I needed to be looking for another place. But I met this guy on Secret Benefits. Literally, we met the first time, saw each other twice within the same week. And I'd mentioned, I need to start looking for a place soon because I've got to move soon. And I have no idea what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go, how I'm going to swing this. And he said to me, oh, and I said, "Oh, I would love to buy a unit here. I don't want to live in another building." He literally told me, oh, there was another unit down the hall that was for sale. He's told me, make her an offer. And I said, well, what do you mean make her an offer? And he was like, make her an offer. And I said, okay. So I made her an offer and he said, okay, we'll, we'll get you that condo. And I was like, what? Like, what? Are you kidding me? It was about like a 7-day close. So we were signing paperwork very quickly. Well, maybe the night before, 2 nights before we were about to sign, I think he got cold feet and he was like, well, what if I buy the condo and you rent it from me? You wouldn't have to have a mortgage or anything like that. You just pay your HOA and your utilities and stuff. And I was like, well, the difference for me, if I were to own it, is that I have security.
Yeah.
If I rented it from you, we could get in a disagreement or an argument and you can kick me out. And there's no
I've been there,
security for
done
me in
that. Yeah.
Yeah. hmm it puts you in a tough situation. Thankfully, he understood where I was coming from. He understood where I was coming from and he got that. And so we went on and signed the paperwork. He is on the deed. I'm on the deed as well. But, we signed something that said that when he passes, it's mine. And if I were to pass before him, it would be his. Totally fair. But we knew each other for a week and met
Oh my
twice.
gosh.
That's crazy.
And I did not ask him for, in my head, there's no way, this.
What was the price tag on the condo? And did he pay cash or did he take out a mortgage?
He did not take out a mortgage. It was 330,000. It's a small condo. It's 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath, but I don't need any more space. And I don't need more than that for myself. And it's in a great location in Vegas. And
Is it the one downtown?
yep.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
Yeah, it's cute.
do you still see him? Are you guys?
No, you know what? So upon getting this condo, he didn't put any speculations on. He didn't put any rules down. He wasn't like, okay, and now I need to see you once a week, or twice a week, whatever it is, or you need to, nothing. You need to see only me. But I was seeing him for a little while. He would still give me my allowance just like before when I would see him. But it just kind of fizzled out. He does have a key to my place. Not once. He's never been there. He's been there once. And it was because we had to sign some paperwork or do something in regards to the condo. But he's never been there really. And he's never stopped by or anything like that. And now we don't see each other. I remember him telling me though, like, occasionally he would write me an email, like if I was late on my assessment, my monthly assessment or my HOA or something, he's like, oh, just reminding you that you're a little late. It's been a few days, whatever. Now write him back. Oh, thanks. Sorry. I'll pay it next week and whatever. But he had mentioned to me once, he was like, thank you so much for not giving me attitude or not making me feel like I'm bothering you and I'm like, are you kidding me? No way. I could never, ever. What he did for me was change my life.
Yeah, that's amazingly generous, especially for somebody you've only known a week.
I know. That's
Unbelievable.
such a crazy story, right?
How old were you at the time? And then what was the age gap?
It was since I've been in Vegas. So 41.
Okay.
Yeah, just a couple years ago.
Yeah. Just a couple years ago. I was 41. Yep. He was late 60s. I think he just turned 70 last year. So this is what he told me. He said, I'm not rich. He has a condo in Summerlin, which is, pretty much Vegas. It's a, modest, simple 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath condo, which he had mentioned also. Well, he told me, he says, I'm not rich. He says, but I've got a little bit of money. He says, I've never been married. I don't have any kids. And my brother, he's fine. He's got his own thing. So I can't take it with me. I can't take the money with me. What am I going to do? I'm not young. And so that's, I guess, why he wanted to do that. I mean, I'm sure that he's come across plenty of other sugar babies before me. And I just wondered why. I was telling
Did you
my friends,
ever
I said,
ask him that question?
I just can't get over that. The guy
Yeah.
barely know, and then he buys a $300,000 condo.
Exactly. And there's so many girls in this town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did ask him why. He said because I was extremely genuine and sincere, and he could just tell the type of person that I am or was or am. Yeah. So, yeah, the fact that he knew that he could help me in a big way, and I don't know, that it was going to the right place. He just knew, I guess. I told my friends, I said, I must have done something really, really good in my life, because stuff like this does not happen. Just does not. Crazy. I mean, of course, it does happen if you've been with your sugar daddy for some time. Definitely not a week.
No.
Well, I mean,
so
Lily's
unusual.
Been offered large amounts, been jewelry bought for her that is very expensive, and I've heard stories like that, but not.
I don't think ever quite that quickly.
Yeah. How soon did Scorpio buy the ring?
Oh, well, gosh, he wanted me to move in right away.
Yeah.
And I pushed back on that for a little bit. But before I knew it, he was so insistent. There I was. And we were ring shopping. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you've put yourself out there. And that's one of the keys, is to take action. And you took action. So a lot of people just sit on the sidelines and wonder what it would be like.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of women, especially our age, Lily, might be a little hesitant because of their age, or because of their age, and maybe they feel like it's a little late in the game for them. But yeah, I think the same as you. I've gotten mostly a great response. And I still have actually a sugar daddy that I started seeing when I lived in LA, and I still see him. He comes out to Vegas a few times a year. I've gone back out. He's from Orange County to go visit him. I was just there a few months ago. He's coming back out beginning of June. And we've known each other for over 10 years. So that's great. But yeah, I've mostly gotten a great response from people. I think a lot of them tell me, I have nothing in common with a 20-something. They appreciate the experience and the wisdom
Yeah,
that comes
I agree.
with someone of our age. Yeah.
I hear that as well. So this guy from LA that you've been seeing off and on for a decade, what does that arrangement look like? Do you guys do PPM? Does he just bring you gifts? How does that work?
Yep, it's PPM. We kind of, I'll stay with him a couple days when he comes out here, or even for a day, and we kind of tailor make it to what we want. It's different every time, but he's definitely very generous. And I think he's a couple years younger than me too, which is funny.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, he's a great friend of mine. And so I actually might be working with him, as his assistant, hopefully soon. Well, once he gets the green light from his company. Yeah. So, because I've kind of been a little bit panicked lately, because I'm like, I can't do this forever.
Or can you?
Well, I'm
intend
sure
to.
you could.
I intend to be
Right.
spoiled by trucker for as long as we both shall live.
Right?
If I could find my person, through seeking, that would be great. It would be ideal. Yeah,
Well, I hope you do. I'm a testament that it can be done, but
yeah,
it did take me a while. It took me a couple couple years to find my guy.
She kissed a lot of frogs.
Yes, I
Yep.
did. Oh, I kissed so many frogs. What's the best monthly allowance you've ever consistently gotten?
Probably about $3,000 a month, but that was from my first sugar daddy who paid all my bills and
And that was on
paid for
top
my
of that.
groceries.
Yeah, isn't that
was
nice?
on top of that. Yeah, that's so nice. But usually I have encountered PPMs for the most part.
What's the average PPM in LA a decade ago and currently in Las Vegas, would you say?
LA, I think when I started, it was about 300. And I was thinking to myself, gosh, you know.
10 years ago, that's pretty good. That paid a lot of bills.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, $300 in a day.
I remember going, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, blah, blah, blah. But once that money was in my hand, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great, you know?
Yeah.
So it was about $300, you know, give or take. And then now I would say it could be anywhere between 6 to 8,000. Of course, I've gotten more.
Yeah, there's always
before.
instances.
But those are like the few and far between, you know. When I actually have a sugar daddy that I see very occasionally, he's like in his 20s and he gives me $2,000.
Wow.
I'm in and out of there, you know, less than an hour probably. So
It's very generous. What does that young kid do?
you know, I'm not even really sure.
Sports
I'm not
betting.
sure, but
No.
I think you're right.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Well, I know
Yeah.
I've been doing this now for 8 years. And when I first jumped on here in Scottsdale, Phoenix area, you know, it was 200 to 350. 200 being, let's just say the quality of women I was getting for 200 wasn't very good. But I had just started. I didn't really know what I was doing. But now I think the average numbers are between like 4 and 8. So anywhere in between. So let's say 400 to 600 on average. And then people are getting as high as 8 to 1,000. And we've got a sugar daddy that we're acquainted with. He's been on our show and he says, yeah, a lot of times I'll promise the girl 1,000. And then the date went so well, I gave her 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have a sugar daddy who I've been seeing for the past maybe year and a half now. He doesn't live in Vegas. He comes to Vegas a few times a year. And he, you know, usually starts at like 6 and then throughout the night will just keep adding on. But usually, you know, he's like, I just want to make sure that you leave happy.
well, we like to
So-
take a temperature kind of where we're at, you know, in the financial area of it, because every now and then I'll put out a sugar, like an extra sugar, talking about kind of what an allowance guide is looking like these days. Oh my God, I get so many comments of like, you're fucking crazy. I would never go out with a guy for that amount, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I just get all this pushback and I'm like, wait a minute, these are real world numbers. I'm trying to get an idea.
Yeah.
Like if they're higher, I'll announce kind of what the ranges are. But from what you've told me, that's about exactly what we're seeing here too. And pretty much
know,
across the country.
Yeah, I agree. I've kind of heard that too, these astronomical numbers. And I think maybe they might be embellishing it a little bit, or I just don't think it's very realistic.
Yeah.
These crazy
Now, there's a-
$10,000 a month allowances.
Yeah, no, those are happening, but it's not the norm. And there's so many other non-financial benefits that there is in sugar dating that people don't understand. We put all of our podcasts on YouTube now, and so I'll get comments. Matter of fact, I got one the other day, kind of pissed me off. He said, basically, this is just, you're just paying people to sleep with you. I said, oh, yeah. And I even commented like, oh, sounds like you know everything about sugar dating. LOL.
Yeah.
I said, well, maybe you need to check out a few more episodes. I think you'll learn a thing or two. And it's what we're finding is it's so much deeper than that, so much more than that. It's changing people's lives. It's changing the direction of where they go career-wise and just networking into all kinds of opportunities. You know, it's not
Yes.
just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, here's your money.
Right.
Sometimes
was
it
just
is,
talking.
but it's not for the
yeah.
majority. It's not like that.
Okay, so Olivia, having been a
Yes.
sugar baby for a decade now, do you ask for any type of gift, like monetary gift on a meet and greet?
I don't. I rarely do meet and greets,
Oh,
to be honest.
how do you avoid a meet and greet?
I mean, just the initial, like, we kind of start talking, on the phone, text messages, and then agree to meet and get together when we do. But I rarely do like a hey, let's go for coffee type of deal, or hey, let's
So
go
you go
to
straight
lunch.
into date mode the first time you're actually face to face in physical
You don't waste
proximity.
time.
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
a
not
brave
here to
girl.
play. I'm not here to play.
And you
no, but
say nothing's
we
ever gone wrong?
no, fortunately,
You must be good at
knock
vetting
on
them.
wood. We talk for a little bit. I don't have a certain system that I have, but I'm not like, oh, we need to be talking for X amount of time before we get together. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Life
Are
is short.
you
You
are
know, time to waste.
you're on Seeking, right?
I am. Yeah.
Do you have a wish list?
I don't know if I might. I think I did at some point.
Have you ever received a gift off the wish list?
I have twice. Once it was a bottle of perfume, but mind you, the wish list, you only have like certain things to choose from. And
Yeah.
I think I've gone through it, and I'm like, I wouldn't, no, I don't really,
Yeah.
but once it was a bottle of perfume, and the second was like earrings, I think,
Mhm.
something like that. But yeah,
I wasn't too impressed with the wish list.
Me
I don't even
neither.
have anything on there.
Well,
anymore.
Alejandra, my sugar baby / girlfriend, she got flowers sent to her off the wish list, which were really nice. And then she took those and gave them to her mom.
Was it because she didn't like the guy?
Yep.
No, I think she liked the guy, or it was, I don't even know if she, you know what, to be honest, I'll have to ask her. I don't even know if she ever even met the guy.
Oh.
It was just one of these things where he was trying to impress her maybe. And then she took him to her mom, and her mom loved him. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know what's funny for me? I think they say, what's the difference between you and an escort? Well, it's a relationship. Sugar dating is a relationship. Escorts, you call and they show up and then they leave, and you may or may not ever see them again.
Yeah, that's a wham bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. And with sugar dating, it's obviously, it may not be an exclusive relationship. It may not be whatever, but it's a relationship, and you get to know the person, and you're invested emotionally with this person. And I think it's more so you're looking at the big picture also. So short-sighted
Yeah, I mean,
people
it's
need not apply.
dating with a financial component to it. It's compensated
Yep.
dating, and both parties, it's a transactional thing where both parties
It is.
are very upfront about it. And we're all adults here.
Right.
Mind your own damn business if you don't agree with it. Right?
Right. Well, yeah. And also, you pay for it anyway, I feel
Yeah,
like.
you do. Trust me. My ex-wife is now worth 7 figures.
I know. Last night,
Wow.
Marcus brought up the term something about somebody's depot being high.
Oh, yeah.
And Trucker was like, what is that? And he's like, dollars expended per orgasm. And Trucker's like, oh, yeah, mine's super high too.
Trucker's like, oh,
damn
mine
it,
is
Trucker.
really high.
I love it. I love it. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's
God.
like you pay for it anyway, and you
Yeah.
may not even get laid.
Right?
You
It's
know?
not all about sex.
Right.
I mean, we are sexual
So-
beings. People are like, oh, you're just paying for sex. I'm like, wait a minute. So, we're all sexual beings. We all like sex for the most part, but you're not dogging Tinder and Bumble, which are hookup sites.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
But there's
And
just,
so-
it's very one-sided there for the most part. So anyway, I just really am sold on this style of dating because it just feels so much more comfortable for me. Obviously, you've been doing it for 10 years. You're very comfortable with this style of dating.
Right. Yeah. It's just upfront about, It's just very upfront. You don't have to play the whole game and dance around the issue. And so it's great. It's definitely great. And
I was just on a podcast. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just on a guest on a podcast, and he says, we were talking about the way I approach it versus the other style of dating. It's like, look, it's my money. So if I want to take you to this event or if I want to go to this dinner, that's what we're going to do for the most part. And he's like, so basically you're paying to be your authentic self. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm paying so I can be myself and I can enjoy the things that I like doing instead of dancing around and, oh, you don't like sushi? Oh, okay, well, we can go somewhere else, blah, blah, blah. Because I want them to like, okay, well, we're going to have sushi. You can order the teriyaki chicken if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
It's so true. Yep.
That's an actual conversation between me and Alejandra.
Yeah.
But that's so true.
Trucker's not big on sushi either.
Oh.
What are you feeling for dinner? And if I say sushi, he's like, ugh. I'm like, well, then we'll go to Hillstone and I can have sushi and you can have something else.
Mm-hmm. Right. There you go. Well, Olivia, we are running out of time. Any departing wisdom that you would like to leave with our audience?
I would definitely say if you are quote unquote older, not to be discouraged because there's something out there for everybody. It's just about, I think, being patient and really sticking to your boundaries, holding your ground and not doing things because you are desperate for money or whatever. Don't compromise yourself.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, very good. Yeah. We agree with you.
Fun.
And thank you so much for coming. Yeah,
Thank you.
I met you through this style of dating, and now, we've communicated back and forth, and I don't know, I'll be going to Vegas here soon. Actually, I'm going to bring Alejandra. Maybe we all three could go out and have dinner and just chat.
That would be fun. Yeah,
talk
that
more
would be
about
a lot
podcasting and all that good stuff. So,
yeah, I'm kind of interested to know what the interest would be in a podcast from
a sugar baby's point of view.
Sugar baby's point of view. So maybe you'll hear back.
Yeah.
Maybe get some feedback, Well,
we'll chat soon. If you guys want to share your crazy sugar dating stories like Olivia, and that was a crazy one about the condo, you can always go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, leave us a message there. And again, we would love for you to become at least a free member of our Patreon group. It's unlike anything else that we do. It's a very special place to talk about sugar relationships and interact with other people all over the world who are on our Patreon group. So it's just patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. I'll have a link to it at the bottom of this episode, and then it's also on top of our website. Very easy to find. We'd love for you to become a free member, and then if you want to get the full experience, at least we'd love to have you as a VIP member. I think that's about it. Lily, thanks for joining us today.
Yep.
Lily, my older sister. I love it.
Yeah, that's right.
Lily was leading the interview today. I almost just sat back and just let her go.
So many questions
I love it.
because he knows you, but I knew nothing about you.
Right.
And I was really fascinated to learn your story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, until next time, catch our extra sugar usually on Fridays or Saturdays, and then catch a new episode every Tuesday. All right.
We'll catch you at the party, huh?
Yeah.
Definitely. All right.
Are you coming to the party, Olivia?
I hope so.
Get your application in, girl.
Yeah. Let's talk. Yeah, and we'll talk about the party too, because we still have. We've got about half filled, but we're giving away 25 Sugar Baby packages, and then I've still got room for about 5 or 6 Sugar Daddy sponsors. So if you're interested in being a sponsor, message us either on Patreon or you can send us an email at info@secretsofasugardaddy.com. But for the women, it's free. The girls, the sugar babies, it's absolutely free. Some of you'll have to find a way to get here, so there may be a little cost there. Get you a sugar daddy, pay for it. We will have some extra funds from some of the sponsors, and some of you will be flying in and out of Phoenix for free, and we'll let you know about that. We're still gathering the sponsors to see how many people we can pay their airfare. But you being in Vegas, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it.
Okay.
We will talk soon.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.